Beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She had no children, only dolls. And if you see her in your dreams, be sure to never, ever scream. What is going on, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo, and welcome back to Slashback Saturday. Today's topic is killer toys, and I am doing the 2007 film Dead Silence. Directed by James Wan, starring Ryan Quanten as Jamie Ashton, Donnie Wahlberg as Detective Lipton, and Judith Roberts as Mary Shaw. Jamie and Lisa, a young couple, receive at their front door a ventriloquist dummy in an old wooden box. Jamie goes out to get some takeout, and his wife is found murdered, with the last thing she sees being playing with the doll switching positions, and this figure moving right towards her. Her tongue gets cut out in a very grotesque manner, and Jamie is now being blamed by Detective Lipton for the crime. Jamie takes the doll because he knows of this legend from his hometown about dolls and a ventriloquist named Mary Shaw that kill people, so he goes to his hometown to figure out what happened to his wife. He uncovers one hell of a slashing story that turns his life upside down and 6 feet under. Why is this a slasher, you may be asking? It's a supernatural slasher where the killer, Mary Shaw, uses dolls as not only her tools, but also her trophies, and also the vessels for her essence. When Lisa is killed at the beginning of the film, you hear the sound of knife blades. And then later on in the film, we find out that Mary Shaw was actually killing children, or at least a child, and using a very large knife to cut out his tongue and turn him into a doll. In my opinion, this is most definitely a slasher film. Now, it is a supernatural slasher film, kind of similar in a lot of respects to Freddy Krueger and A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not saying that it's quite as good of a film as that, but it is similar in its backstory. And she does, as I said, utilize the dolls. The dolls do play a part. The doll itself is what cuts out the tongue of Lisa. At least that's what I'm led to believe in the film. And the dolls portray a very big part of this picture. Now, even though this film is directed by what I consider to be now the great James Wan, at the time, it pretty much flopped. It was a $20 million budget, and it made $22 million in theaters. After the first couple weeks, they took it out of most of the theaters because it was doing so badly. But it did find its home on DVD, and on DVD, it's made around $20 million. This film has established quite a cult following, even with all the negative reviews about it. And I, for one, think it's a damn good film. I really enjoy it, and unfortunately, it's a film that I overlook quite often and don't watch that often. I've only seen this movie 3 times, and every single time I watch it, I think, man, this is good. Why don't I watch this more often? In fact, I only have one con for this film, and that is Donnie Wahlberg's atrocious acting in this movie. Man, we can tell that all the talent went to his brother. Let me tell you. You know, Donnie Wahlberg, he just needs to, wasn't he in, the New Kids on the Block or something? He just needs to go back there. So getting into the pros, I love the premise of this film. I love the idea of this. For one, it's a woman and an older woman who's our slasher, our killer. And I love that. I love that it's not a guy. I love that it's somebody different. And I love that she's a ventriloquist and she uses the dummies in her killings. I think it's all great. I love the premise of this movie. I also really like the camera work, the shots, the set designs. I love the production of this film. I think it's done so well. James Wan's directing is very evident, and it shows, it's kind of foreshadowing a lot of the films that are going to come. Films like The Conjuring, and the way he does certain things in certain shots. Like, you're seeing a scene unfold of Lisa being put into the ambulance, and then it zooms in on an eye, and you can still see the scene going on in the eye. And you think, oh, this must be the cop or somebody. But then it pulls back, and it's Jamie, who was actually in that scene. And it's his memory while he's sitting in the police station. And I love that. I thought it was really well done. Very cool. I love some of the themes in this movie. I love that we have this old playhouse that's half sunk underwater. The imagery just pops off the screen. Like when all the dolls are in their case at the end of the film, and the faces of the victims start coming out of the dolls. I love that. It's beautifully done. It's very good imagery. The CGI is on point in this movie, and that's something I don't say a lot when it comes to horror, and I really do enjoy it. Even in James Wan films, sometimes like in The Conjuring 2, I did not like the CGI in that film. This one, it was done well. Mary Shaw looks amazing. Judith Roberts did a great job. She is creepy and evil looking. She is the boogeyman for a very good friend of mine's child. And that, I think, is awesome. It really is. I love the gore. It's not over-the-top gore. And a lot of it is post, a lot of the gore is post-kill. But it's really, really good. And I really like the gore that we get at the end of the film that I'm not going to totally get into, because I do know that this is still a movie that has not been seen by a lot of people, even though it's been out since '07. So I definitely recommend going and checking this movie out, because I really enjoy it, and I think it's really good. And the people that tell you it's crap are people that don't get horror movies, in my opinion. Especially good supernatural slashers and ghost films. Love the taking of the tongues. Every time Mary Shaw or one of the dolls kills somebody, they take the tongue. And Mary literally takes the tongue onto her own tongue. It like supernaturally grafts, and she gets your voice. She gets the voice of the people she kills. And that is awesome. And I like the way it looks. Once again, I like the CGI here. It looks really cool. It looks really good. And it's just a very cool effect. In this movie, the dolls are called Billy. That might sound a little familiar coming from a James Wan movie. And you will find in this movie, during one of the scenes, when they're going along, you're going to find an Easter egg. An Easter egg for the Saw franchise. The franchise that James Wan created. And you will find the Saw Billy doll right there on the floor. And I think that is really cool. It kind of gives the movies a connection. It kind of feels like maybe it puts them in a shared universe. And I really like that. Overall, guys, this Slashback Saturday was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Go and check out Dead Silence if you haven't already. And if you have watched this movie and you don't like it, give it another chance. Go and check out Joe the HORRORman and check out everybody else doing Slashback Saturday. There's a lot of great people out there doing great vids. I want to give Jennifer Tochi a shout out. I want to give Hey Internet Eric here a shout out. By the way, he's only about 12 people or 11 away from his goal of 666 people. And when he gets to that number, he's going to do contests. So check out his channel. He is awesome, and he is the homie. That is it for me, guys. This is Bronco Juggalo saying peace.
Fuck with me. Fuck with me. Fuck with me. Can't nobody fuck with me.